Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm coming to you today, just going through a process of needing healing. But in my process, since I don't know how to do it, I figured that I would just talk about it as those feelings would come up. So I'm sure many of you have went through a situation of a breakup. And let me tell you, these breakups are the worst, right? Right. Especially when someone, whether i.e. a female or male in the relationship, has broke up with you and they've done it and you don't even know why. It sucks. So that's what I'm kind of going through. I kind of went through my whole stage of, like crying, being sad, not necessarily asking the why in regards to what did I do, but more on the why as to like why did they do what they did. And I still haven't came up with an answer. When we can go to our go-to places of, oh, well, they didn't deserve you, oh, that's who they were from the very beginning, and it may be so. However, that still doesn't stop the fact that who they were, you did not know, and you then obtained, gained, and had feelings, and probably still do have feelings for them. It's a hard process, very hard. It's emotionally hard and very draining. And I don't have the answers. And to be quite honest, this does not feel good. However, I felt like I just wanted to talk about it just because I need this. So, and when you've been through this type of stuff as much as I have, then you begin to be like, okay, what the hell? Right? Right. So, um, that's kind of where I've been at here with this whole thing. Um, I was with someone for almost 2 years, and I really thought that, they were different because out of all the other relationships that I've been with, I felt like, definitely he was, a true alpha male. I definitely thought that he was, he understood the trials and the tribulations of being a single parent. And it still doesn't mean that he doesn't and he didn't understand the trials and tribulations of being a single parent. I felt like he could appreciate the fact that, a single mom and she's holding it down, 3 kids, working as hard as I feel like I do, you know, in the military, still having aspirations and dreams, trying to reach them, work hard for them. And, you know, um, I was with him and, you know, the relationship, he was busy a lot with his job and I was busy with mine. So it was okay, that certain things like I didn't get to see him every day because he was flying out or, because I worked 12 and 13-hour days, sometimes 14, and then had to come home and deal with kids, fixing lunches and starting the next day, sometimes at 3 in the morning or even at 2:30 in the morning. Um, I was okay. But it just started getting to a point where, you know, he would just say hurtful things to me. And it was just kind of like what I was doing was never enough. You know, um, and then even told me he couldn't stand my kids. And now he tries to say that, oh, I didn't say I couldn't stand your kids. I said I couldn't stand how they treated you. No, 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 no. I heard you right. I heard very clearly. And you said you could not stand my kids. So, you know, and then would go out of his way, I felt, to be hurtful and say hurtful things to me. And here's the thing. What I realized is this, that when you're in a relationship, you kind of learn that person. So you'll learn certain things about them. And what I learned about him was that he shot his mouth off when he could not intelligently have a conversation and use expandable vocabulary words. So we'll go to the hurtful place like a 5-year-old, even a 4-year-old, I would say, you're not my friend. I don't like you. You know, that immature place. And that's kind of what he would do to me. You know, hit below the belt on stuff that, you know, and when you're in a relationship and you experience hardships or stuff that you should be able to talk to that person about. But I've talked to him about it. And yet, when it came back up and we're having a conversation because he shot his mouth off and said something that was insensitive, then you even take it a step further and go to this low place. So, you know, I went through a lot of that. This man would be with me and then break up with me for no reason, don't even know why. And even after he did it, I ain't gonna lie, I would go to him and talk to him about it. You know, like, I don't understand, like, what happened, this, that, and the other. Never was one where he would come up and say something to me, but I was going to him and I was talking to him about this whole thing. And even to this day, this man still sits and acts like, oh, well, you know, okay, you know, like, has no accountability for anything. You're 50 years old, really? And you're walking around here like that? And so, even though people will say, that doesn't say nothing about you as a person, it says something about him. And you're right, it does. However, it does not make that person that was in that relationship with that person that it says something about, it doesn't make that person feel good. And it doesn't. So that's where I'm at. It does not make me feel good. But I am determined to get to a place of getting better each and every day, right? But I will say that I am so hurt and brokenhearted. I'm not necessarily going to say that I don't ever want to be in a relationship. I think everybody wants to be loved. But what I realize is that I have, in so many past relationships, given my true, real, pure, and authentic self in these relationships. And what I've gotten in return has been crap. They've always had an agenda from day one when they saw me. And instead of being fair and telling me, well, my agenda is that I just want to sleep with you, not be in a relationship with you, they fake and act like, oh, yeah, I love kids. Because, you know, when you're in a relationship, if you have kids, they're a part of the package too. So if you like that woman with that hourglass figure and then that big old chest, that 36, if not double D, triple D, and that nice brown round, guess what? You also gonna like the 2, the 3, or the 4 kids that come along with it because they're part of the package. And so men don't, you know, talk about that. Now, here's the deal. I'm just talking about men, but women can be included. I've never dated a woman, so I don't know. But it's for equal opportunities for both genders. And, you know, but they'll fake and they'll act like that's what they want. And then in the end, you know, you're in kids' lives. You're not even a part of their lives, though. Not really. But the kids know who you are because you keep creeping and coming up to sleep with their mom, or you sleeping with their dad, or you sleeping, you know. So they know you. You're around, okay? But you have no interest in them whatsoever. And to be quite honest, you have no interest in their mom or their dad. You don't have an interest in them either. Because all you want to do is hump them. You don't even get to know them. Like, at all. And that's crazy, you know? Crazy. And so I'm like going through this process and it just brings back a lot. This relationship kind of reminds me of the relationship that I had with my daughter's father. So here's the deal. I am a single mother. I have 3 beautiful children and they all have different dads. Why? Because of my lack of, I would say, love for myself, in the fact that if I loved myself enough, I would have definitely, not maybe the first one because, you're young and dumb, so you're allowed that. But definitely that second one. And if we got to second, the third would have been in the same rotation. But, if I really loved myself, then I would not have entertained these men that came to me and would have had things the way that I wanted. So the way that I wanted, after I had my oldest daughter, I was like, I'm not having no more kids until I am married. And then got caught up in a situation and it was just bad. So I say all that to that one of my kids' fathers, this situation that I just got out of, it kind of reminds me of that situation. Both of them were like very insecure, but my daughter's father, his insecurity was more of one that was, he was insecure within himself. And I mean, let me be clear about something, okay? So I'm going to be honest with y'all because that's just how I roll. I've never dated any of the guys that I've dated off of their looks. I've dated them off of what I thought they were about. So I dated them off of the potential that they had presented as if it was their reality. Okay. So that's what I did. So like my daughter's father, this particular one, I dated him off his potential. Now he walked around here acting like he was just all that. Mind you, this man looks like a Fraggle. Okay. A demented walking Fraggle. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to keep it 100 and real because that's how I am. And he was insecure with himself. And see, here's the thing. The thing about us, whether you're a man or a woman and you're dealing with somebody that is very insecure, you don't know your value and your worth. So when they're constantly thinking that you're out here doing something, you're cheating or whatever, that's because they know on that really, if the universe was lined up correctly and everything was meeting at the right spot, you would never in your right mind ever be with them. Because I mean, first of all, if we're going to do looks, look at them. They're buckled. Okay. As my dad would say, Shartae, everybody has a mud duck moment. So that was mine. Okay. So, but if you were in your right mind, you would have noticed like, what am I doing here? And then when they act out their levels of insecurities with you, then you say, well, instead of what I did was, why, what's going on, and trying to prove and show and everything like that. Instead, you said, instead of you trying to prove and show, you should be like, you know what? That's your issue. I'm good. Okay. So that's why I say if you was in your right mind, you wouldn't even deal with them. So like both of them had a level of insecurity, but my daughter's father's was more of his looks. This other guy, it was more of his need always to have affirmation. And so when you have a need of wanting and needing to have affirmation to the point you're very insecure, and let's be clear, people, everybody has a level of insecurity. Everybody. Okay. There's not nobody that's walking this earth that doesn't have a level of insecurity. Period. Even the animals, they have a level of insecurity, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because when that male, that alpha so-called male is trying to fight for that female, and that little scrawny dude comes up, I'm sure that scrawny animal is looking at himself like, yeah, I'm going to go on and fight, but I don't know. You think I got some muscles? That's what they'll be. You think I got some muscles? Animals are like that. There's only going to be one king of the jungle, and that's the lion. But which lion is going to be that king, right? They all got to fight for it. So there's always a level of insecurity. Everybody has it. It's all in how you choose to address it and deal with it. So if you address it and deal with it like, I am insecure in this area, but I need, help with it, then okay, we'll work with you. But when you're dealing with your insecurity and your insecurity is causing you to put other people down, that's an insecurity where you're screaming out loud like, I have a whole bunch of issues. But see, generally people that are like that, like my daughter's father and this guy that I dated, they'll be talking about how bad you are and what you are not, and how you're not this and you're not that, and yet it's them that is meeting all of those interpretations. Okay. So again, I say all that to say, like, when you're dealing with somebody that is insecure, it's hard. And And a lot of times we don't look at those red flags. I'm honestly, I'm going to tell you, I saw it, but I didn't look at it enough to say, girl, if you don't walk away from that whole situation, you're going to find yourself in a bad state. Okay. And so I just kept dealing because the other thing that I could see, at least I thought and I felt, was that this man needed to be loved. Like, you done been through something, and I'm not sure what it all is all about. But if I'm definitely trying to build something with you, because, that's how he presented it to me. Oh, man, I want to be with you. You're part of my package plan and everything. Okay. So I'm trying to build with you. And instead, you're out here doing, trying to, I have no idea, honestly. But you're breaking up with me every other 2-3 months. I'm walking on eggshells because I don't know if you're going to be like, oh, let me go ahead and, if you're going to be okay with something or you going to have a problem. So, like the final straw was when I was talking to him about us going out on a date. And I was like, well, I want us to go out on a date, a real nice date where you'll be in tune and, and you'll be a part of it. And so I was in the process of trying to explain what I meant when I said that. And here this guy goes to yelling, going off, and the thing about me is I believe I'm a very clear communicator. I don't leave anything for chance. I don't leave anything for you to try and figure it out. I definitely am about giving and getting understanding when I'm talking to you, when you're talking to me, when there's something that doesn't make sense or seems very ambiguous. That's the word. Ambiguous or ambiguity, are very broad. I'm definitely one like let's hone in on this, okay? Let's bullseye this target because you're all over the place. And in the Army, when you're trying to shoot your weapon so you can qualify, they want you to zero your weapon. So a lot of times when people are all over, when you're shooting, before you can zero your weapon, you have to shoot at a target. And wherever the target lands determines if the weapon needs more zeroing, if you're close to zeroing, or you're not, right? And so a lot of times people can be very ambiguous. They're not zeroing in. So we got to zero this in so we can get right to that target. So, and so I was going to explain what I meant. And so then he turned around and was like telling me that, and let me effing finish what I have to say. And da-da-da. So he gets to talking and, at this point, this man is talking reckless, like really, really reckless. Now, mind you, I've been dealing with this crap for almost 2 years. Like, I've been having to shut my mouth, hold, as my sister would say all the time, clutch my pearls and hold my mule. Okay. Had to bite my tongue, pray a little bit, as that song said, have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all about your troubles. Yeah. I had to do a lot of that. Okay. And so after all of that, he says his piece. And then I'm like, he's like, now you can say what you have to say. And I was like, no. Cause I knew I was at a level of pistivity. Okay. I'm highly pissed. Like, I'm burning hot. And I think it was cold, winter cold, fall cold outside. So, I'm just like, I don't think that is wise for me to even say anything because, you're just talking real reckless right now. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get off the phone because then at that point I needed to go back to work or whatever. And so he states, I'm going to make you hate me. What? Like, why would you want me to do that? I'm supposed to be trying to build a life with you. You're supposed to be building one with me. And you want to holler out, you're going to make me hate you? I don't understand. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived there, okay? I'm not going to lie. And I love the Lord. But God knows that right now, I hate this man a whole lot. And I'm asking him to help me. So those of you that know the words of prayer and you got God's ear, pray with me and for me. Thank you. But nevertheless, I digress. So, That's why you break up with me? I don't get it. I don't understand. So I'm like going through this whole process, and it's just been hurting me a lot. A lot. I've cried when people have not seen it. I've cried as I've been like driving, having shades. I mean, I have the coldest shades. They're cool shades. But I'm crying, tears rolling down my face because I'm just like that hurt. Because my honest feeling was that I truly, truly loved this person and was in love with this person. And they did not love me back. And that's hurtful. Okay? That is hurtful. It's even to the point where I'll go and check up on you, see about you at the hospital. And I'll walk up in there and there's a broad up in there. Now, just the day before you was trying to hump on somebody. Okay? And then there's a broad up in there. Are you serious? But come to find out, you've been taking this broad out to lunch and dinner. But mind you, I went you for almost 2 years, humping on you and everything. Didn't take me out to no dinner. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You took me out with my kids. But the date that I was talking about trying to have, yeah, you messed that all up, getting mad. And then turn around, lunch, never. You never would take me to lunch. Only one. Oh, I take that back. Don't say never. You took me out once. And that was when we first started talking. Then you took me out to lunch. Okay. All right. So I'm just going through this process and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about these relationships that I've been in and how we as a people, you know, women, men too. Again, I have not dated women, so I don't know. So men may be in the same boat. Go through these situations and we be in these relationships and, you know, we put up with a lot. And I believe that when you love somebody, you put up with a lot of stuff. But when does it come to a point that you start looking at these things that people are doing and saying, you know what? Yeah, you are not who I am designed to be with or for. But in the process of, that, and we'll talk about it. And I'll talk about past relations. Oh, Lord, I done been in some relationships and y'all, let me tell you, I done did some stuff. I have. But I'm not going to say too much to incriminate myself. But I have. So, but I have to talk this through. I feel like this is going to be my therapy, my healing process, my everything. And you guys are more than welcome to chime in. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. But, so, thank you for listening. Until the next time. And as my emotions, these emotions come up, I'll just continue to talk about it. All right. Happy Sunday. Bye.